Hey everyone, so instead of putting out another gaming video that I usually do, I'm actually going to be doing a review of the new movie It Chapter 2, which just came out today. It Chapter 2 is the newest installment in the Stephen King movie universe, following It Chapter 1 in Pet Sematary, and it follows the Losers Club 27 years later when an adult Mike, played by Isaiah Mustafa, calls the rest of the losers to let them know that Pennywise has come back after a boy is found dismembered in Derry. Now, all of the losers, except for Stanley, who couldn't make the cut, came back to Derry, where they soon find their own troubles from their past coming back to haunt them, and all is orchestrated by Pennywise himself. I'm trying to make this review as spoiler-free as I can, so I won't dive into all the details of what happens to our beloved Losers Club, but seeing the movie made me feel a full range of emotions from pissed off to almost empathetic for Pennywise. The movie itself was really well written and paced, and there weren't really any moments where I felt the movie dragged or anything like that. During the movie, there were some slower points, but it provided story progressing details that weren't just filled with spacing lines or just filler lines. As for the scares, there isn't as much of a jump scare factor as you would think, which was kind of a relief compared to a number of horror movies that are coming out now, even though I do love those movies. The scariest moments seemed to be when the Losers Club was facing their own past fears and encounters with Pennywise, where they would go almost into a flashback and then go into present day where they would face Pennywise again in the same areas that they did in the past. Overall, though, the scares were very well planned and executed while maintaining the tensity throughout the entire movie. Especially towards the end, there was kind of a cheesy part where, if you've read the book, it's kind of the same in the book, where they are talking down to Pennywise, and that's kind of protecting them almost in a way. But either way, you'll just have to see the movie to kind of get all that part, because I don't want to put too many spoilers into this. There are also many moments in the movie that were really unsettling, ranging from the actual screen time of a child getting chomped by Pennywise, just like in the first movie when he gets Georgie's arm and you actually see Georgie crawling away from the sewer, which was just really unsettling for me. To seeing Pennywise appearing in reflections, watching the main characters where they don't see him. Also, the Losers Club has some moments where the audience that I was with kind of got disgusted with vomit and some other bloody aspects, but you would expect that kind of with this kind of movie. Throughout the entire movie, though, there were plenty of moments that not only induced horror, but also had a lot of emotion and heart with it. Mainly that being the moments between the losers and their bond, where they are slowly starting to remember things that happened 27 years ago that they didn't want to forget. Because when they came back to Derry, they started getting all this memory back of stuff that they'd forgotten, because when it's a thing that happens when you leave Derry, you kind of forget all the events of it in like the past and what happens. It's almost like a magical power where you forget everything. But as they come back, they slowly start remembering more and more, and it kind of brings up some old feelings and stuff like that. And there was actually some really nice moments where the actors did phenomenal, especially the adult Losers Club, being able to act and actually really look like the younger Losers Club. It's pretty spectacular with how well the actors did, and the acting was out of this world. No pun intended. And the ending of the movie kind of talks about one of the messages from one of the losers to the other ones, and it's a heartfelt message. Like I said, not getting into too many spoilers there. Anyway, with it being one of Stephen King's most famous novels, the horror author himself does make an appearance in the movie, and it's been talked about on the internet, so you can find that there if you really want to. And one of the best parts about him being in the movie, though, is when he speaks to one of the losers, being an author, talking about them being able to afford something that is overpriced because they are an author, which, as we know, authors actually don't make that much. But anyway, overall, I thought this movie was an excellent addition to the horror genre, and especially to the Stephen King universe, with Pet Sematary kind of being not as great as people would have expected, especially considering its older original movie version. But this movie complements the original as well as the book, and follows the book actually a little bit better than the original, and it is the perfect finale to the storyline of it. The scares were on point and weren't overdone with jump scares. They were really tense, and some of them you could see coming, but the timing of them were just off enough that they still got you without being, oh, I expected that to come, which I really enjoyed that. And they were filled with intensity and reached into your own childhood fears. It was one of those really nice, like, childhood fear movies. The emotion and acting of each character was phenomenal with their portrayal of the younger counterparts, like I mentioned before. And the overall tone of the movie was dark, which is what you would expect with it, but especially with Bill Hader playing one of the losers, he just brings the whole comedy aspect into it. That was great, and they weren't overdone, and it didn't make this movie seem like it was just trying to be a comedy or anything. It definitely was a horror, but it had comedy aspects that kind of relieved the audience for a little bit before taking them back into the horror aspect. And then it has the whole emotional counterparts with Bill and Beverly, and then even going into Beverly and Bill. And I think that adds so many layers to this movie, which just makes it even better. And it keeps you basically drawn in until the very end. And with that, I would give this movie about a 9 out of 10, losing 1 point for all the times that Bill Hader threw up in the movie. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review. And if you guys like it, I'll do more reviews of some upcoming movies. Thanks.